Okay, I want to be respectful of everyone's time, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And some people may be trickling in as we go through this. So, welcome everyone. This is a presentation on combating screen fatigue. My name is Joe Tyner. I use the pronouns he, him, his, and I am an accommodation specialist at the Student Disability Center. I'm joined today by my friend and colleague Shannon Levy. Shannon, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, thanks, Joe. Hi, everyone. So glad to see everyone here. Thanks for joining. My name's Shannon. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm an occupational therapist and the student service coordinator with the Assistive Technology Resource Center.
As we get started, I want to talk a little bit about access needs. We are providing closed captioning and subtitles. This is being auto-generated through PowerPoint, so I apologize if they aren't completely accurate. We encourage you all to ask questions throughout. You can do this by either posting questions in the chat, or if you'd like to unmute yourself and ask questions out loud, we welcome that. Feel free to ask questions at any point throughout. As we're talking about screen fatigue, I want you all to feel comfortable. So feel free to turn your cameras off, lay back, sit in a comfortable position, do what you need to do to take care of yourself. Finally, if you'd like to access a PDF version of these slides, I just posted a link in the chat that you can access them at. I will also send out the PDF of these slides after the presentation is over. You can also access, if you cannot get to the chat, you can also go to tinyurl.com/1RB as in boy and as in Nancy 11FE. I had no choice in that URL, so I apologize for it being slightly confusing. So this is ironic, right? That we're talking about screen fatigue. And to do this, I've asked you all to come sit on Zoom for the next 45 to 60 minutes to talk about this. It's ironic, right? Keeping that in mind, we've used principles of inclusive presenting to create this. So we hopefully you don't have to spend the hour looking at this presentation. We're going to go over everything in an auditory format. So if you want to, you can just sit back, listen, and not look at your screen. So really during this presentation, sit back and take care of yourself, turn off your camera, don't look at the screen if you don't want to, just listen, move around, get comfortable, do what you need to do to take care of yourself. I don't want this presentation and learning about this to be any more fatiguing than probably the reason that brought you here. So we're going to cover a few different things today. I'm going to start by covering some tips and strategies of things you can do yourself to help reduce some of the fatigue you might be feeling from the virtual world we're living in right now. So the first, I think one of the most important, is taking breaks. I think it's important to schedule regular breaks in your day. And it's really important to make these screen-free breaks. So whether it's not just taking an hour at lunch, but taking time every hour or so, even if it's just 5 minutes away, where it's like, I'm going to spend 5 minutes not looking at my computer screen, not at my phone, really spending time to focus not on screens. I think it's important as we're all busy, both as students, as employees, but if we can take breaks between, if we're doing Zoom or Teams calls, taking breaks between them so we're not spending our entire day just staring at a screen. It's important to set a screen schedule and like setting time away from your screen. And there are some apps you can use to help with this. Shannon, do you want to talk a little about some of those apps?
Sure, thanks, Joe. Yeah, I mean, you can be as simple as just setting the timer or alarm if you have a smartphone or even a watch, just to help remind you to take breaks. Another type of app that we like a lot, they're called Pomodoro apps. So this is where you would work or do your assignments or readings for 25 minutes, then you get a 5-minute break, and you go through 4 cycles, and then you would get a longer break for 15 minutes. So yeah, if you wanted to Google Pomodoro apps, there's just so many available, but some of the ones that we like, Be Focused is a free one that I get a lot of good feedback about. Another one is called Forest. All these are for Androids and iPhones, and there's also Chrome extensions too, just to kind of help remind you to take breaks.
Another good tip is going outside. So getting out of the house, out of your office, wherever you're at, going outside. It'll be good for your eyes to kind of like, not be looking at a screen. Going outside is good for your health and well-being and mental health in general. So really taking time to when you schedule those breaks to try, if it's nice weather out, go outside, even if it's just, stepping out into your front porch or balcony or if you have time to take a lap around the block, just to get outside and try to separate yourself from your screens. Another thing that's really helpful for helping with eye strain is the 20-20-20 rule. Shannon, you're the one that told me about this. You want to talk about it?
Sure, I keep hearing about this too, but so what that means is about every 20 minutes, if you could take a break and look about 20 feet in the distance for 20 seconds. Yeah, so the 20-20-20. And again, I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly 20 feet away. I think as long as you look outside the window or just a distance away for 20 seconds, that's going to help your eyes readjust and help with the eye fatigue and eye strain.
A really big piece of reducing your screen fatigue is really reducing your on-screen stimuli. So try to, and I know this is really hard, especially for us who are working professionals, is trying to only look at one thing on your screen at a time. So only have one window open, maybe not having dual screens or having dual windows open, really trying to focus on one at a time. Turning your camera off can be really helpful if you're on a Zoom call or a Teams call. As I was researching this, there's a lot of research out there that shows that when we are doing that, we're really a lot of times we're looking at ourselves, and that's stimulating us and distracting us. One thing to help with that is choosing the speaker view. If you're on Zoom or Teams, so you're only seeing one person speak at a time. If you're on, a large Zoom, whether you're in a Zoom class, maybe you have, 50 to 60 people on, or a staff meeting where maybe you have like, 5 to 10 people on. Having that many things on screen at once can be really overstimulating. And when you think about, when we were in person, that wasn't really realistic. You didn't sit in a staff meeting or in class staring at everybody in the room and staring at their face that close. You were looking at, maybe one or two people. And so switching to that speaker view can really help you only focus on one thing at a time. And as hard as it is, try not to multitask when you're going between email and Canvas and Netflix and all the different things. That can be really overstimulating for your brain and help leading to some of this fatigue I think a lot of us are experiencing. Ergonomics are really important. For those of you who aren't familiar with that term, ergonomics is really based in your posture and positioning physically, and that can really have some major impacts on you, both like your physical health, your mental health. So sometimes being really hunched over can be really hard for your posture and can cause headaches. Having a bad position with your mouse and keyboard can cause some physical damage and help increase chances of getting arthritis. So doing things like changing your position throughout the day. So not just sitting in the same position for 8 hours straight or for multiple hours. Move around if you can. Find a computer setup that works for you. You can use things like propping up your laptop or your monitor to help so your eyes, maybe your head and eyes are maybe at a more steady level rather than looking down or up. As I mentioned, using an external mouse or keyboard can really help if you're someone who just has a laptop. If you can get an external mouse or keyboard, it'll help be less hunched over, help you spread out a little bit more. If you're able to, try standing. I try to stand throughout my day. If I'm in meetings, I try to stand. That helps just get me moving, get me out of a different position. Keeping a good posture. So like I said, elevating your screen can help with this. If you have access to it, using ergonomic supportive furniture. So this is things like office chairs are designed to be office chairs. So not using like a stool or a kitchen chair at your desk can really make a difference. It may not seem that big of it, like it could be that deal, but it really over time will make a difference. And I realize sometimes that's not everyone has access to that kind of resources. And so I think, when you're looking, maybe if you're really like, ooh, this kitchen chair I've been using is really hard on my back or really hurting me, checking places like ARC or Goodwill or even the CSU Surplus property to see if you can find maybe a lightly used chair at a discount that might be really supportive for you. In my home office here, I actually have a chair I bought at CSU's Surplus that is an ergonomic supportive chair. I'm really grateful that I bought that because I think it's really helped ease a lot of the strain and tension I feel when I'm not in a good chair. Shannon, do you have anything to add about ergonomics?
I think you covered most of the topics, but yeah, I have a similar setup to Joe as well. So I have just a height adjustable chair, which really does help to try to get my body in a more neutral position. So I'm not hunched over or kind of in an awkward position. And I also do try to stand throughout the day. I'll just, yeah, maybe move my laptop around to, I think Joe's going to talk a little bit more about this, but yeah, I really do think moving around and standing can have a really big impact on how your body is feeling.
You can get really creative with this. Who says you have to sit at a regular desk or table? So some things I've done is, so when I have like like Zoom or video meetings where I can just be watching or listening to it, I try to stand at I have a tall chest of drawers for a dresser, and so I put my laptop on top of a shoebox and then on top of that. So it really puts me in a good position for when I first standing. That's really helpful for me being able to give me that versatility. When I'm sitting at my actual desk, maybe working on emails or things, I have this little like height stand that I got on Amazon for like $10. That props up my monitor a little bit higher. And then I actually wanted it to be a little higher than that. So I used a couple of books to prop my monitor up even higher. And I found that super helpful because before I had that, I realized I was looking down a lot at my monitor and I was really feeling that tension in my neck. And I feel like I was starting to get headaches. We're having this, it's been so much better. So get creative. Use what you have around you. You don't have to go out and buy, expensive furniture. You can really make do with things you may already have around your house or apartment. It's really important to have different spaces for different things. So really trying to separate your work or school space from your relaxation space. Oops, sorry. And I realize working from home and doing school from home is really hard for us to kind of separate when we're working and we're at school and when we're just relaxing. When you don't have those separate spaces, that's really hard for your brain to shift. So if you have the space and are able to, create separate spaces for work and school and when you're just relaxing, it'll help your mind transition between those different activities. If you don't have that kind of space wherever you're living, if you are willing and able to, you could utilize things like the CSU Morgan Library, the Laurie Student Center, or other common areas where there might be space available to go work and get you out of your house. I know people who will go to the library or to a coffee shop, and work just to get them into a different space. So that way when they go home, they actually feel like they can go home and be separate from work.
Hey, Joe, can I add one more thing about that slide?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just, in case you don't know, Morgan Library, just in the main computer lab, they actually have some of those height adjustable tables available. So yeah, again, while we're talking about, standing and changing positions for your body, I think that would be, a great resource to use. It's those height adjustable tables in the library.
Thanks, Shane. I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about them.
Another thing you can do is just move. One thing I like to do, I have both the Zoom and the Teams apps on my phone. And so if I'm going to be part of a meeting or a webinar or something where I don't need to be like sitting at my desk, like fully and I don't need to be on camera, I'll open up one of those apps and listen to it, and I'll go for a walk. So I can, I've been in webinars where I'm just going for a walk around campus or around the block, and I'm still able to listen and participate when needed, but it helps me move. And so I'm not just sitting all day and not staring at a screen. having those breaks to really just take time and move gets your blood flowing. It'll help clear your mind. And I think it's important that you don't need to focus on a specific kind of movement. When Michelle Obama was the first lady, she started an initiative called Just Move that was really focused on. It doesn't matter. You don't need to go for a run. You don't need to be running up and down the stairs. Just move. Just move your body. Stretch. It can really be really beneficial for both your mental health and your physical health and well-being. So those were just some quick tips and strategies you can help implement at home. Now Shannon's going to talk about some different kinds of assistive technology. So if you do have to be looking at a screen, some things you can maybe use to help reduce the impact your screen is having on you.
Okay, thank you. First, I just wanted to get started by giving a quick introduction about our center. So we're called the Assistive Technology Resource Center, or ETRC for short. We are located on campus in the Department of Occupational Therapy. Our mission is to ensure equitable access to technology and electronic information for students and employees with disabilities by fostering a technological climate that is inclusive and welcoming to a diversity of learners and workers. So we actually do this in a couple different ways. We do provide direct services to CSU students and employees with disabilities, and we also provide consultation and education and outreach to campus departments and faculty in regards to helping ensure that course content and course materials are accessible and inclusive and can interact with the assistive technology. We do have our contact information listed on this slide if you think of any questions or wanted to reach out, and the picture shown on the slide is one of our staff photos. So over the next few slides, I'm going to talk about free or low cost assistive technology and also mainstream and built-in technology. We've noticed that the technology I'm going to talk about has helped our clients a lot with screen fatigue. But so not only does it help clients with our center, it can help anyone, any CSU student, any employee, anyone who uses a computer or mobile device.
I just noticed in the chat, Latoya posted a link to CSU's resources on ergonomics. And I think, thanks for sharing that, Latoya. I think that's a great resource to share. So if you're curious more about when we were talking about ergonomics, there's some resources in a link in the chat.
Okay, the first type of technology I wanted to talk about is called blue light blocking software. So I'm sure most of us have heard about this at this point, that computer screens and even mobile devices emit the blue light, which after prolonged use of looking at screens, it can start to cause headaches and eye fatigue and eye strain. And it can also impact your sleep by kind of throwing off your sleep patterns. Some of you may have heard of the blue light blocking glasses. So that's always an option, and they're relatively cost effective. But if you don't have access to the glasses, luckily there's all kinds of settings that you can enable. So on the slide, I do have a screenshot. It's kind of hard to tell, but on the screenshot, the left-hand side of the screen is showing the blue light blocking software enabled. So it kind of looks like it has a warm color tint on it, and it's reducing some of that white background. Versus on the right-hand side of that screenshot, the blue light blocking software is turned off. So it just looks more bright and white, which again, can always start causing that eye fatigue. So for those of you who have a Windows computer, the setting that can reduce the blue light is called night light, and it's found in settings. For those of you who have a Mac, that feature is called night shift. And on the slide, I have how you can access that feature. Lastly, I keep hearing really good things about this software called Flux. It's a free download. On the slide, we have the website listed, so you can download the software if you would like. But it's available for Windows and Mac, and also Linux computers for those of you who might use a Linux.
For anyone who maybe joined in late, we will be sending out these slides afterwards. We'll have all the links embedded, so you don't have to worry about trying to write anything down.
Okay, great. The next type of software I wanted to mention is screen tinting software or screen overlays. So on this slide, I have another screenshot of a Windows background with kind of an aqua colored tint on the screen. So yeah, this software is kind of similar to the blue light blocking software where you can put a tint on the screen, which can help reduce the brightness and the white backgrounds. But with this type of screen tinting software, you might have a little bit more like customization with the colors. So yeah, if you don't like how that aqua or blue color looks, you can maybe change it to a peach color or purple or whatever might be easiest on your eyes. And you can always adjust the transparency too, so you can make it really subtle, or you can make it more obvious just with like one of those scroller features. So again, for people who have a Windows computer, there's a free software called Window Shades, and we have the download listed on this slide. All you have to do is log in with your CSU credentials, and then it'll prompt you to download it. For those of you who have Mac, yeah, and actually with the newer operating system, so Catalina, and I think there's an even newer one, there's a feature called Color Filter. And it's the same kind of idea where you can choose the color you would like on your screen, and you can adjust the transparency. But if your computer is pre-Catalina operating system, there's a great free program called Screen Shades. And also on this slide, we have the download link. All you have to do is log in with your CSU credentials and it should work for you. But yeah, feel free to reach out if you are having any difficulties downloading these softwares. Okay, another great feature that's available lately is something called dark mode. So again, I have another screenshot of what this might look like. So this picture is showing a few different apps open, and all of the apps kind of have an inverted color. So instead of the bright white background, it's a darker color with lighter text. So I would say this dark mode is really personal preference. I think for some people, they really like how it takes away all the brightness and the white backgrounds. But for others, it might be a little bit too different than what they're used to. So yeah, it might be worth trying to see if it helps with your eye fatigue. So yeah, again, it's available in Windows. I have how you can access that, and also for Mac. And it's also available for a lot of smartphones too. So if you have an iPhone or Android, a lot of times that's also available for mobile devices.
I can also point out that a lot of apps now, even things like Facebook and Instagram, are building this feature into their apps, so that you can even go into the settings of those apps and turn these kind of features on.
Thanks, Joe. Okay, lastly, the type of technology I wanted to mention is something called text-to-speech software. And so this is the type of technology that can read aloud content from your computer screen and also smartphones. So yeah, if you're really getting tired or headaches and you just don't want to, or you don't feel like reading maybe your emails anymore or those research articles, there's a lot of options where you can upload those files and then actually have them read out loud to you. There's a lot of customization with these types of software programs. You can adjust the type of voice, so it can be maybe a male voice or female voice. A lot of programs have slightly accented voices of that. I have heard that sometimes that makes the voice sound less robotic or digital if it maybe has like a English accent or Australian accent. Okay, so the first resource I listed, so if you're interested in trying this, Natural Reader software is a free option if you wanted to just check it out. So it's available for Mac and Windows. It's a free download, or you can actually just go to their website and drag and drop files into it, and then it'll start reading it out loud. So it can, yeah, there's also a Chrome extension, and again, it can read content like PDFs as long as they're accessible, Word documents, websites, and more. For those of you who have a Mac, there's actually a built-in text-to-speech feature in system preferences. Then you go to accessibility, then speech. And again, I have this listed out on the slide. But when you have that feature enabled, you can select any text that you would like to hear read out loud, and then hit a shortcut key on your keyboard, and it will start reading it out loud. And then my last bullet point is if you wanted to read on the go, and I know we keep talking about that, Joe was talking about it's a good idea to maybe get out on a walk, maybe listen to your lectures from your phone. So you actually can do a similar thing with your readings. For example, one app that I really like is called Claro PDF. It's free and it's available for iPhones and Androids. We do have the website listed here, but yeah, basically you can upload your readings to that app and then hit play, or you choose the voice and speed you like, and then you can hit play. So yeah, maybe you could listen to it on the go while you're just taking a walk, or taking your dog out, or working out. Yeah, whatever you prefer. I know some students and employees, if you have to commute, sometimes that might be a good opportunity to maybe catch up on your readings while you're driving. And then I also wanted to mention there's a free website called Balabolka. I know that's kind of hard to say, but again, this is a free program where you can upload types of documents you'd like to read, and then you can actually convert that text to an audio file, such as an MP3 file. And then if you could, then you can maybe email it to yourself, or have it on OneDrive or Google Drive, so then you can access it from your phone while you're on the go. And then so the next slide just gives a quick example of what this text-to-speech software kind of looks like and sounds like for those of you who haven't tried it before. And it's actually one of an ATRC program called Read and Write, but a lot of these free programs kind of look and function similarly.
Maybe.
Hopefully it'll cooperate.
Well, for some reason the video is not playing. When I send out the slide, I will include the link to the video. So you can, it's just a short video, you can get an idea of what the software does. Okay, I also wanted to talk about just a few mental health resources. I know the pandemic, working from home, doing school from home, all the time on screens has really taken a toll on people's mental health. So I just wanted to share some resources available to both CSU employees and students to support their mental health and well-being. So the first is called Silver Cloud. It's a free online program that's available 24/7 to CSU students, faculty, and staff. It's based in cognitive behavioral therapy. And while it's not a replacement for counseling or therapy, it's really a great place to start if you're considering, do I want to, maybe see a counselor or with a therapist. It's consisted of self-guided modules that can really help navigating issues such as anxiety, depression, body image, sleep issues. Like I said, it's free to all CSU faculty and staff. You can access it whenever you want. You can go through modules at your own pace. And so, like I said, when I send out these slides, the link to the Silver Cloud website will be included in them, and you can access that for free. If you are a student who's paying student fees, you do have access to the CSU Health Network and counseling services. CSU Counseling Services is really great because they provide such a wide variety of mental health support and counseling services. So doing both, they offer both individual and couples counseling. They have groups and workshops. They offer multicultural counseling services, specialized treatment for alcohol and drug use, really intensive mental health support for those who have been hospitalized due to their mental health, behavioral health services. They also offer 24/7 emergency services. And students can connect with them either by calling 970-491-7121, or you can check out the Counseling Services website for more information about their services and accessing how to access them. For CSU employees, we have access to something called the Employee Assistance Program, or EAP. And it works to provide equitable, supportive access to wellness for CSU employees. They offer on-site support. So we do have a person who is a licensed counselor who you can connect with and talk to issues that you're currently experiencing. And she can help you get connected to counseling services in the community by doing community referrals. As employees, we do get 6 free sessions of mental health services and counseling through EAP. And you can either contact them through their website, or you can call 970-491-3437. Finally, I just wanted to share, I think as we're going through this, it's important for us to support each other, knowing that we're all working from home, we're all going through this pandemic together, and a lot of us are experiencing some of the same difficulties. So let's really try to support each other and share this information with those who weren't even able to be here, or those who might be struggling with some of this. If you are an instructor or a supervisor or someone who's leading meetings and asking people to be on screen, really try to take some of these principles and incorporate it into your work. So encourage your staff to, if you are doing a staff meeting or you're a professor leading a class, like turn off their cameras. Why, if it's not necessary to be on camera, turning cameras off, encouraging people to take breaks. If you're someone who's scheduling meetings, schedule breaks as part of the meeting. So instead of scheduling a meeting for an hour, schedule it for 45 minutes so that, you and the people you're scheduling it with have time to take a break. Encouraging people to be comfortable and put themselves into a supportive environment. We're really open to questions now. Like I said, you can either put stuff in the chat, you can unmute yourselves and ask out loud. You're also welcome to either email Shannon or I directly. My email is joe.tyner, joe.tiner @coloradostate.edu. I appreciate you all coming today. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully you learned something that you can use and really take some action on right away. Shannon and I will be around for a little bit if anyone wants to, send us a question directly. Either put it in the chat to everyone. You can ask us directly. So feel free to shoot us an email.
We would also love to hear maybe other strategies that you all have found to be helpful, maybe some tips or advice that we didn't include. Oh, I do see a great question. Any recommendations for less stressful microphone use?
It's a good question. I'm trying to think, without knowing like the rest of the context, perhaps, finding an external mic that is comfortable. So whether that be maybe like a mic that's on a headset that's comfortable to wear, or maybe like a lapel mic that you can just clip on your shirt, or even just finding a way to have an external mic that's set up, on a stand. That might be helpful.
Yeah, there's also desktop mics that are available. So they could just be propped up on the top of your desk or clamped somewhere. So I guess that way you don't actually have to wear anything, if that might be more comfortable.
Well, if there's not any other questions, I did plan for this to be an hour, so I hope if you all planned it for an hour as well, you hopefully now have some time to go take a break, move, go outside, don't look at a screen. I hope you all take care of yourselves, and we'll get through this together.
Yes, thank you all for joining. Yeah, it was great to see everyone, and I really appreciate seeing everyone's comments in the chat.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah,
This is Oki, and I want to thank you first of all. But my laptop, I can change the display, but my other one, it's a bigger monitor
mhm,
that's connected to it. I can't get that thing to not be so dang bright.
mhm.
Any suggestions on that?
Probably that might be like like maybe just a tech issue that maybe like your department's tech support might be able to help with. It might be like an issue with the monitor where maybe the brightness is not adjusting. So I'd say maybe touch base with your departmental IT people. Yeah, because if it's not adjusting when you like go into the settings, there might be something wrong with the monitor.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was because my laptop is hooked up with this monitor, so that it's not allowing me to change the setting for the other monitor.
Yeah, as far as I know, it should let you like either on the monitor change the brightness setting, or even if you go into like the laptop settings, changing brightness. But either way, something should be changing.
Right, I'm just trying it on mine because I have a similar setup, and on my particular monitor, there's some buttons on the right hand side. So I think that might be the only way I can adjust it is through the buttons, and maybe not through the settings. So, yeah, does your monitor have anything like that?
It does. Here, let me see. But it's not allowing me to click on any of the functions.
Oh,
So, okay, I'll
sorry. Well, yeah, Joe had
I'll talk to my tech then.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I was just wondering what